Hello everyone, good evening. I am Maick Ofel. Welcome to one more episode of Talking Times. Today, if you are from the IT era, you're gonna love today's show. I'm here with Diego Silva. He is an IT professional and entrepreneur. So we're gonna have an amazing talk about this field. If you have questions, bring them on in the chat. We're about to start right after our podcast intro. Welcome, Diego. Thanks for being here, man.
Oh, thank you very much to invite me. It's a pleasure to be here.
Me too, man. Before we start, can you please introduce yourself to our listeners?
Yes, of course. I'm Diego. I'm a software engineer. I've been working with software development the last 15 years. And since I started, I did a little bit of everything, like get requirement, coding, testing, manage projects, manage people, infrastructure. As a developer, I do the back end, the front end, the fuck end, whatever.
I love it.
Do you know that expression, money on the hands and pains on the ground?
Yeah.
Yes.
We have the you are the IT version of the handyman in the company. You do a bit of everything.
Yeah, so I would say that I have a little bit of experience, and it will be a pleasure to share that with you.
Oh, nice. And we were talking about this before. Is the right way to do it, right? If you want to have access to more opportunities in the field, you cannot limit yourself. You need to do a little bit of this and that, right?
I believe yes, especially if you want to have a business in this field. So it's important to have the entire vision, I would say, of the entire cycle of software development.
Okay.
So nowadays they are, how can I say, we have back end, front end, so they are. It's a little bit isolated, you know.
Yeah, in the past you mentioned that it wasn't like that. Something nice that the people that are watching will notice, you have the perspective now of the guy who started, from the base of the profession, and
yes, perfect.
You went up. And now as somebody who is in the other side, like managing your own business. And if you have questions about that, guys, just send them on. So Diego, tell a bit about the beginning of an IT professional. Like we were talking about the university thing, the impression. Like you imagine you will start the course and will be coding right away. I'm gonna develop my app, and it's like math 1, math 2.
Yeah. So I started 15 years ago, and I was in the second. I have a degree in computer science, so I was in the second year, and I saw an opportunity, to work as a PHP developer in that time. So and the salary was something six times more. That was I learning, and of course I didn't get the position. I didn't have the experience to that, but that opened my eyes. Was something about 3,000 Brazilian reais in that time, so 15 years ago. So can you imagine that? It was a pretty good salary,
Yeah.
And I bought a book. Simple book, and start to study. I remember that I was a worker factory, so and I remember that I was in my lunchtime studying and compiling everything in my mind. And when I had the opportunity to have a computer in front of me, I put in practice what I was studying. And after some months, I started to apply, and I got very fast the position to be a internship of a company. It was a source factory. My first job, and it was good to work there because I learned a lot. I stayed there for about 3 months, and I got another job after. So since that moment I didn't stop.
And when you were at the university, when was the moment that you felt like, oh man, this is what I want to do? This is exactly what I want to do. Was it right away? Did you have that little time of, oh my God, it's different from what I expected?
No. When I started in the university, I was into that, So I remember that when I was a kid, I liked the video games, and my father gave to me a computer when I was 12 years old, and that thing stimulated me, And I would say that I lose my mind now. What you're asking? Can you repeat this?
About how was the experience at the university?
Oh, it was great. You can the university, the good part is that they teach you the principles, so, and the principle never change. So algorithms, data structure, and things like that, it's important to know, because technology, JavaScript and Java, PHP, will change, so, and the principles, so you can learn very fast if you know the principles.
Okay, so would you say that today, if you want to be in the field, is a good way to start the career? Go first to the university, because people nowadays they study sometimes doing courses, like you mentioned one of the candidates.
I think it's good to have a degree. It's important to your career, But nowadays you have internet, so you can find the same topics that you have in the university and study by yourself. Maybe you don't need, but would be good. I recommend.
Okay, and you stayed 3 months doing the intern. How was the daily basis there, man? What was a normal day at work for you?
They gave to me a normal, how can I say, normal tasks, so I knew a little bit, and I was resolving tasks and learning at the same time. So I learned JavaScript in that moment too, so I didn't have experience. It was only PHP and a little bit of SQL.
Okay.
But I learned a lot, about that, doing the tasks, and I remember that they had a lot of books in the build too, so was cool.
So you could study too while you were... So it was a real internship in terms of learning process.
Learning process, yes, but about the job, it was a normal job. It was a developer, and it's the way that it works. They will hire you to be an internship. Of course, you will learn a lot, but they will put you to work,
Okay, so if you are starting, don't be afraid of being an intern. It's part of the thing, right?
It's part of the process, and it's important to your career.
Yeah, people sometimes they want to skip a step that is essential like that.
Essential. I think the first year would be just to learn,
Okay.
Just to learn.
And after that 3 months, you got another job. How was it?
The salary was, how can I say that? I need more money.
Okay.
So the salary was enough to pay the university, but I need more money to buy clothes and,
Of course. How old were you, Diego?
I stopped to count after thirds.
No, when you got the job.
Okay, so I think I were 20.
Very young. Very young. Yeah, a lot of the professionals, they start young, too. I noticed it.
No.
Okay. And then after that job, how many other places you work? Because today you have your own company, so I imagine it's very, very different, but...
Yes, I worked a little bit more time in Junte-se. I got another job after and stayed that for about, I think, 2 or 3 years. So it was good to me because I learned a lot. I entered as internship and I was promoted, during my time there. And after I finished my degree, I thought that was the moment to be very professional. And I thought in that moment that São Paulo would be a good place to me to stay. So I did away. So I gave away to enter in a position in São Paulo. In that moment, I think it was a company, Origin. So it was pretty good work there. It was a project with telecom and things like that. I learned a lot. Big companies have more bureaucracy.
Yeah.
It's good and it's not true. So it's different when we work in a startup. And I worked there for some time, and after some time, I realized that I don't want. I needed to change my career. I don't want to work in big companies anymore. So I put it focus in small companies and medium-sized companies. So
understand.
It was good because I learned much more. When you work in a small company, startup, for example, they will do everything. Everything. It's important.
You will have the roots feeling of being an intern in a way, but you are earning more, you have more responsibilities too.
Yeah.
And is it very different, the hiring processes today from back in the day? Or is the same thing, just now you can do it online, for example?
I think it's a little bit similar. Don't change it a lot. I think nowadays we have more competition. So there are more people trying to apply to the same position. And then when I started, was few people, was not so much, was not so much popular, in that moment. And nowadays, I think everyone wants to be a software developer.
Yeah, like you said, from Uber to a developer in like a few months.
What I say to you, from a software engineer to Uber in 1 week, it's the same.
Okay, this guy will teach you. No, I'm joking. No,
I will teach you drive on the car.
Okay, and how was the transition, man, from an employee from the man who owns his own company?
Was at the end of the last year. So
it's recent. Okay.
It was recent. I quit my position as a CTO. I was CTO of 2 companies before I started my own company. So that helped me a lot to get experience. So I was managing the company of others, So and now I have experience just to manage my own company. And I quit in July of the last year, and I started a project with a guy that is working here, and was on WhatsApp, some kind of WhatsApp mailing, But we had a lot of problems with WhatsApp because what they consider not spam, so a lot of blocks, and we had the elections, and so it was a mess. And I think it was November, December, I started to apply to get a position as a software engineer, as abroad only. I was applying to work abroad. And I received an offer to have a partner offer to me to start a company. So, and I thought that was the right moment. So for me, it's better. I will do this in some way, start a company. So it wasn't the right moment.
The feeling that I have is nice in a way not to have a boss in terms of authority and you can make some decisions, but you need to be more aware of the dynamics of the client and company, like to deliver the thing to the client. How was the normal daily difference that you felt, Diego, when you started working? Like, okay, it's my first day working in my own company. Was it difficult to adapt for you?
No, because I started doing developer tasks. So I was improving a framework that I developed to accelerate the software development process. So I think the 2 or 3 months I was doing that. We started hired people maybe 2 months ago, 3 months ago. So the first 3 months was just tasks of developer. So I was preparing the framework to start to code,
Now you are on the other chair when you are hiring people.
Yeah. Okay, I know how it is now.
Yeah, we're gonna go there. Let me take a look at the chat. Okay, thank you guys for sending your questions. Okay, one moment. Hello, Kathleen. Hello, Gleason. Okay, send your questions here. Okay, Kathleen is asking you, Diego, what is the difference between software engineer and software architect?
Software engineer, software architect. I think software architect take care more of the architecture, and prepare, design the applications. And software engineer, generally software engineer code more than software architect,
Okay.
But I don't see so much difference. The software engineer can do the wear the same hat,
Okay, so it's like the micro and macro thing, basically. Nice. Okay, she's asking, do you know many women in your professional field? Yes, it's the impression I have is still a profession that attracts more men than women, or is just a stereotype?
For example, I hired 2 girls to work as a developer in my company, and they are doing a pretty good work, So I have nothing to complain about that, I would say that girls have more attention, maybe, less testosterone, maybe they. Yes, because guys can distract easily, and girls generally know they.
And they are better multitasking too.
Yeah, very good, man. Yeah. I think it's important be multitasking. Sometimes,
Yeah, and in this area, is an area that is very, very dynamic and very diverse too. Because for example, when somebody says, "Oh, I work with IT," it could be many different things. So regardless of being a guy or a girl, there will be some area that it will fit there. You feel comfortable working too.
Yeah.
I noticed when, because of my students, when, I am an IT guy. Okay, IT guy is a generic term. What exactly do you do? Oh, I am a dev, or no, I am a QA analyst, stuff like that.
I think nowadays they separated better the things, In the past, we don't have so much difference, You are a developer, you do everything,
Yeah. From coding to format the grandmother's computer.
No. This has happened sometimes. About the printers too. So I need to say that I don't know how to do that.
People, you work with computers.
Yes, and my hour is more. It's expensive.
They imagine can you do this for me? It's not what I do.
Yes, and resolve that 500 an hour. I'm joking. No, it's not this way,
Okay. Another question here now from Max. Hi, Max. And okay, they're saying that about ChatGPT. We had a nice chat about this last week. Okay, do you use it, man?
I'm not using ChatGPT. I know what it is. It's like an assistant, but the developers that work with me, they are pretty young, so they like this new stuff. So and they a developer refactored a code. They put an old code made with old was an old style of React. And the ChatGPT refactored the code and just put and work it. So I thought that was a little crazy. Yeah.
Some people are a bit scared. I asked last week, Michelle said, are people exaggerating when they feel afraid of this new technology? But it's basically a text generation thing. So it's not like, it's gonna dominate the world and stuff like that. You guys are exaggerating, don't worry.
But I think we're talking about ChatGPT and AI. I think it's a huge thing nowadays.
Yes.
So, and ChatGPT didn't impress me a lot, but what impressed me was the audio thing, so I can listen Manuel Gomes of Blue Pen singing Lady Gaga.
Okay.
Can you imagine that? And I have a playlist on my phone with a lot of songs of Manuel Carlos singing, Pearl Jam, Guns N' Roses, Aerosmith, and a lot of that. So it's pretty amazing that they are doing with everything. And you can, for example, change your background of your photo easily now, and there are a lot of different things. I think what is happening about AI nowadays, it's like when Google started 20 years ago. It's a huge moment, a big moment.
Yeah, probably. And before Google, it was Yahoo. I remember. You don't call me old because you are from KD too. I used KD as well.
Look at him.
Yeah, look at him. Yeah, exactly. It is gonna change everything. Are you concerned about how it's gonna impact the IT field? Like, we're gonna replace professionals, or
I believe that everything that is repetitive, we replace easily, So, and everything nowadays are tech companies. This is a school of English, right? No, it's a tech company. The way that you teach, you have online lessons, With it, without technology, you can't do that.
Yeah, we are getting more and more dependable on it. And related to what you just said about we can change pictures' backgrounds, people could even use it to. We already do it in a way. We show an image that is not real in social media and stuff.
On my phone here, you show a lot. There in artificial intelligence, they are doing a lot of picture that you can't know if it is real or not. It's like Manuel Gomes singing Lady Gaga.
Yeah.
You listen to the guy, so you think that is the guy. So it's pretty amazing.
Yeah, I saw last week a podcast that was Joe Rogan interviewing Steve Jobs, but it was a fake one based on the
was just one audio, or
it was just audio. Yeah, okay. But they could do it like they could do the virtual thing as well. Yeah. So maybe we will have a problem separating fiction from reality, because it would be more difficult to identify, right?
I think it's good and it's not. For example, if you are hanging out with a girl, you know, and another girl in the same time, and the girl saw some photo, you can say that it's artificial intelligence.
Yeah, it's
Right,
just
you know?
something that they sent here.
Just pass it up in the face and,
Yeah.
you know, and do it, you know.
Yeah. Let me take a look here. Hello, Fabio. Hello, Max. Okay, one moment, people. The chat is trolling me as well. Do you consider yourself like a dinosaur in the field, Diego?
Who say that? Too?
Yeah.
I looks like a dinosaur.
No, no. I like dinosaurs, man.
Was Fedor's brothers?
Yeah.
Let's say that. When he called,
Yeah.
I say that because most of the people that are working now, they are in 20s. So we how can I say that? The environment of my company, we don't have bureaucracy, we don't have micromanagement, so we just have the task and delivery date, and they need to deliver the right thing the right time. So simple like that. And the calls, we are always making fun, you know, about that. And especially because I'm older than them, so we have basically two groups: the dinosaurs and the modernettes. That was the name that I gave to them, you know. And they said something like, you are Legion Urbana, you know, because I'm old. And I say, but you listen trap and smoke pen drive, man. Say about that, you know.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you know.
What do you expect to see in the future? Flying cars, transhumanism, you know, nanobots. No, people listen trap and smoking pen drives.
Yeah.
We have failed as humans. No, we haven't.
Yeah. And about the dinosaur was about that, you know. I was just joking. It's a thing that we do in my company about the difference of generations, you know. So it's simple like that.
Yeah, and do you see this as a clash or no? It's like productive because one can learn with the other.
I think it's very good, you know, because I have so much experience that can I pass to them, and they respect that. For example, if they say that they can't do, for example, I generally when I pass a task, I know how much time will take to do it, you know. And if they say something like I can't,
I need 1 day, man.
I need 1 day, and I can resolve in 5 minutes. I will show to the guy. So this is the good part, you know, that we exchange in the same time. We update ourselves, you know. For example, about the slangs, you know, they say a lot of slangs like, look at him, look at him. They said a lot to me that, man, you know.
How is this code so static?
And I think that is important. You mix the generations, no?
Yeah.
So it's important. You have people that have more experience, people that are starting and know in the middle. So it's important to have a team that have a little bit of different ages.
And the newbies or modernettes, as you said, they will be always updated to the new trend too. So you can kind of. Because some people like, oh no, back in my day it was good, and then do you know this?
And it's a different point of view, you know, and it's important. You know, when you have so much experience, sometimes you try to avoid certain things, you know, that it's important to try more, you know. How older you get, you try to be, how can I say that, stable. And young people now, they just want to do
they're very
everything,
volatile,
you know?
yes.
Yeah, do you want to code in this weekend? Yes, I want to. Ask to me, no, I don't want to. No.
Take a break.
Take a break. You know?
All right. Okay. That's a good question, Max. So Max is asking you, Diego, the best way to get more money working with IT is change the job often. She's saying here. Is that true? Like, because you mentioned you stayed for 3 years in a company. Like, are the professionals like this? Like 1 month here. Okay, 1 month is too little, but 6 months and then they change a lot. Is it difficult to retain professionals?
Yeah, I think especially if you are very good. You know, if you are a senior nowadays and have a lot of experience, you will receive a lot of offers on LinkedIn. You know, you will be the pretty hot girl in the Tinder. You know,
everybody wants to match.
Yeah, swipe the right. You know, so, and I think when I started, I did a little bit of that. You know, so and it's good to increase your salary. Well, I have a company now. I shouldn't say that, you know. So, but I think it's important to do it, you know. So, and see, where the place is better for you. Not to company. You will always find somebody, and you need your priority need to be your career.
Makes total sense. Now, what about the other perspective? What companies should do to create a healthy environment where the people want to stay? Because people can simply say, just offer higher salaries. But sometimes it's not only, that's the obvious thing. If you have an attractive position, a career plan, something like that. But it's more than that, I guess. What should a company do to retain good professionals?
I would say a thing that I always did when I was working. So I always need to feel that I was doing something useful, So when you do something that you think that, is not relevant, maybe can be a problem, I think it's important that, and when, for example, in my team, I always say to the guys when they do a good job, and I always say when they do a piece of shit, So yes, direct, I don't.
Honest feedbacks.
Honest feedback. So and they know that. So when I say that is good, it's really good. I'm not doing something to be pleasant with the guy. No, I don't do this kind of thing. So, and they recognize that. I think
Yeah, some people they can say, but you are being very blunt to say that, but. In a way, we improve ourselves as professionals with critiques. If the person, no, you are perfect, you are good, it's like, yay, go. And you never get, this is good, but it could have been better. Or, no, this is a total mess. Like you said, it's a piece of crap, this job. You should do it like this.
It's a German style. Yeah. German, they are very direct.
They are like this, yeah. And have you had any funny story while hiring someone, man?
Hiring someone, no. Okay, but before I start my own company, I received an offer to work in a project, and I rejected because the code was a mess, so I would have a lot of work to do the things, and and I say to the client that the only way to resolve the problem was that the application was born again, and built from scratch. Of course.
He didn't like that.
Yes, of course. And after some months, they asked to me to enter in the project again, and they accept my suggestion. So I have this project in my company now, and I was speaking with two developers that started recently with me, and I was using that. How can I say it? We were talking about good manners, about coding, quality of code, and things like that. Standards.
How to do the clean job there.
The clean job, yes. And I use it as an example, that project, and say that I would plant the guy in the middle, between eyes, if I meet the guy in person that did that thing, because it was a mess, and the guys look at each other, and say nothing.
They were talking directly to them.
Yeah, and the funny thing is that a few weeks later they say that they worked in that project.
Oh man, that must have been awkward. But I imagine they changed their working style.
Yeah, but they entered in the middle of the process. It was not the guilt of that guy.
Okay.
I know that. The guys are working for me now, and they are doing a pretty amazing job. So
nice.
Work, and so I don't have nothing to complain. And it was interesting because I will meet these guys in person. We work. All of my workers are remotely.
Something very common nowadays as well.
Yes, just remote. And probably I will meet these guys in person soon because we will finish that same project that the guys was doing in 2 years in 3 months.
Okay.
So we will celebrate that. So probably go to some pub and get very high.
Makes sense.
And I need to think about it because I generally when I give a word I need to so maybe I would consider punch the guys.
Okay. You cannot drink. So drink to the level that your frontal cortex can still. Okay. Oh my God, his face looks so punchable now. All right, I won't do it.
Of course, I was a joke.
Yeah,
the guys are amazing.
Okay, guys, so don't need to wear any protection helmet, nothing like that. Yeah. Would you say that companies they lose a lot of time and money now because of situations like this, insisting in like dirty work or in a project that should have been done differently?
A lot.
Is it common in the market?
Yes, because it is like an investment. You don't want to lose what you you put there. You know, it's like the guy that buy a stock market, you know. So the market is going down. I don't want to lose.
But maybe something's gonna change.
Yeah, it's the same. But when they start to have problems because the guys changed their opinion because they put a project to clients use, you know. So and there was a mess, you know, a lot of problems. So. And I think when you achieve this point, you change your mind about that, you know.
Yeah, so the teacher would be losing a lot of investment there, maybe. Yeah. Okay. All right. Not gonna do that again.
You need to accept that you lose, man. You know. So.
Yeah. Take a loss and move on.
Take a loss and move on. Yeah. Go ahead.
Okay. Hi, Claudio. Thanks, Max. Okay. Oh, Marcel is asking about the AI, if it's a threat to software engineers. Can AI do something a software engineer do, or maybe it will in the future?
Develop some kind of artificial intelligence.
Yeah, something like that.
No, man, don't care about it. You just use that, you know.
Yeah.
Yes, don't care. I think there are specific companies that will be the mainstream, you know. And I think don't worth to other companies, you know, try to enter in the competition, you know.
Because something that I noticed about how technology will, in a way, replace some professionals is it's more for those people that are stuck in one position, in one way of working. Like when I was 14 years old, I visited Volkswagen factory, you know. And I remember in the assembly line, it looks like a transformer, you know, thing. It was a lot of robots doing the thing, assembling the car parts there. But this is like 20-something years ago, you know. Yeah, I'm 38, so I was 14, so you do the math. Okay. And I imagine now, but you still need human intelligence to develop the thing and to maybe if there is a glitch and solve something like that. So maybe it's an exaggeration, like, oh, AI will replace IT professionals. You need a human person to be there and, you know.
I think for a while. Yeah, maybe in the future. We can't know exactly because it's unpredictable, you know.
Yeah, so, you're right.
But things change very fast and in the beginning of this year, I don't know how much time we have Manuel Gomez singing, you know, but was pretty new, you know.
Yeah, the impressive thing that I saw was people. I mentioned this to Michelle last week. People making money creating fake models and fake Instagram profiles and showing a lifestyle that it doesn't exist. It's a fake person generated by AI. And the crazy thing is, like, imagine you can find sponsors to do that. You create a bodybuilder.
But man, you know, girls are doing that before AI. You know, with filter in the face.
Yeah, but it's not the same because at least there is a person there. But imagine, for example, you start to sponsor an athlete, and you discover that he's not real. Damn.
Yeah, and you can't know. Right?
Exactly, that's the thing.
You can't know.
It's like, imagine you have a fake Neymar, you create like parts of a game there, you know, and then like you have like, okay, drink Gatorade, and it's an AI, man.
Oh, this will happen soon, I think, you know, and the way that things are going.
Yeah. Possibly.
I think movies in general, you know, they can, for example, there are interesting episodes on Black Mirror.
Oh yeah,
did you watch that? Yeah, that it's a little bit like that, you know. So artificial intelligence, I think, is the first episode maybe.
Yeah, I remember one that got me was the nosedive, the one that is like Instagram critique. That people
it's
have
the best ever. The best.
Man, I love that episode, you know, and it's very interesting because it is how I see people using social media nowadays. But okay, let me cover the chat here. Then we're gonna dive into that as well.
Okay.
Okay. Leticia is asking here, what is the darkest part of a software engineer's career? The darkest part here.
Darkest part?
Yeah.
I don't see that. Maybe you do some job and don't receive, maybe. Right? Because nowadays we can be a CLT and PJ. You know, I always was PJ. I prefer to make more money and pay less taxes. So it's pretty good, you know. But I never had this kind of problem, you know. But would be a problem, you know.
Yeah, some feedbacks that I get from my students is drink a lot of coffee, don't sleep many hours. You know, people that are really the whole day they work from home. Like they work from home, drink coffee all day long, don't see the sunlight. The stereotype that you have with the technology thing.
Okay.
So, would you give any recommendation for someone that to have a healthy life and at the same time be a good professional, not be obsessed with this, you know?
I think when you say that work a lot, you know, drink coffee, this has happened, but it's a bad habit, you know, you can change your habit. And since I started work remote was in 2014, I realized that I need to have tasks outside, you know, do something outside, like go to the gym. So I'm pretty active. So when I'm not exercising my brain, I'm exercising my body. So I like martial arts, so I have boxing lessons, Krav Maga lessons, I go to the gym, I swim, I run, I do a lot of things, you know, because it's important you equilibrate the things, you know. If you only work, you will have a burnout, you know.
Yeah, exactly. Easily, you know, this is very common, and so the key thing would be have balance, right? The thing you said about doing little things is very, very intelligent, Diego, because it's something that we can create a pattern. For example, what I tell to my students, if you sleep in the same place you work, it will sound silly, but for your brain would make a lot of sense. If you work from home, before going to your workstation, have a house uniform. You change your clothes, you know. But you can imagine, but it's weird. I am at home and I will wear a shirt or a jacket. Just wear specific clothes for work. It would signal your brain that you are not relaxing. It's working time. And take the trash out, you know, say hi to your neighbors, take a few minutes of sunlight, you know, don't be a vampire.
Yeah,
okay?
Yeah. You're right, Mike. I believe in what you are talking about, because when you wear the right clothes, you start to think, you know, as for example, I use black shirt every day, so when I put my black shirt, I'm a developer. When I take out the blazer, I'm a developer. With blazer, it's a manager. You know?
Yeah,
let's see like that, you know.
It makes total sense, and especially with some people they would get their laptops and work on their beds and stuff like that, and so it's very easy to mix the relaxing time to the working time, and then you don't do anything properly, you know. You are working a sleepy way, and when you have to relax, you're thinking about work. So this separation is very important, guys.
You're correct.
All right, so one thing they said here, Fernando said, is about layoffs, you know, that happens with many companies, you know, firing a lot of people at the same time. What recommendation, Diego, could you give to a professional to kind of prepare in advance? In case I lose my job today, how can I be an attractive professional and find another job quickly?
You don't want to be fired, right?
Yeah.
Okay, you need to be unreplaceable, you know. So how you do that? Hide the information. I'm joking. You know? I'm joking, you know. I'm joking. No, I think it's impossible you control that, you know. So, and maybe there are a lot of people that need to be fired. Maybe the company don't need the worker, you know. But there are a lot of good people, you know, being fired too. Right, so you can't control that. I think the secret is to be, how can I say that? To be honest with you and know where you are, you know, so in what you are, especially, because it's happened, you know, doesn't matter if you are senior, junior, intermediate, one day you will be fired, you know, easily. So one day, your time you arrive, you know.
No, okay, so, your time will arrive.
Yeah, and you know, man, go ahead. So apply. You know, there one algorithm that I apply, and I think it's interesting to develop it because most of them are developers. You just need a simple structure of condition and a simple structure of repetition. While every developer knows what's a while. So while recruiters say no to you, you will say yes to and go to the next interview. Simple like that. You will be in a loop. And you only get out of that loop when you receive an offer, you know?
Makes sense. So even when you are in a job too, if you like you said, if you are a good professional, you will still receive job offers.
Yeah.
It's something that happens. People will not say, "Oh, this guy has a job already. I'm not offered." They will try to make another offer, maybe to see if you are interested in leaving or not. So,
It's happened.
well, what could a professional do to have an attractive LinkedIn? Because it is one of the main platforms that people find opportunities today.
I think before you be good, you need to look like you are good. You know, it's more important than be good. You know,
This is a good cut. Before you were good, you have to look like you're good.
yeah. And you need to have a presentable LinkedIn. You know, put a good photo, pass a good image. You know, put only information that is needed. So there are a lot of people that put a Bible there. You know, so, recruiters and I think maybe AI now will filter that. So put the right words, you know, keywords, and be honest. You know, so say on the truth what you know. Exactly, and about the task that you did in the company, the wares that you wear, the hats that you wear, you know, be direct, you know, in your LinkedIn. Minimalist LinkedIn.
Okay, minimalist and pragmatic profile.
Pragmatic, it's the right word, man.
Okay, yeah, because it would sound antagonic if you say, "I'm a very direct and pragmatic person," and then the next time you have a paragraph text, you know.
I'm saying that because I was filtering CVs, you know, resumes, and I just how can I say, the profile that interested me more was that have a clean, you know, a clean profile.
So you put like the languages you use, the companies you have worked.
Yes, I think simple, something minimalist, simple that your eyes will feel comfortable to read.
Makes total sense. Okay. Another question here: Android or iOS?
Ever.
Okay. It's like a code, huh?
Yes.
It's like a code.
Man, I just use WhatsApp and Instagram. I don't need more than that. You know, I don't care about cameras with 20 megapixels and things like that.
Yeah. It's very nice. It's like people who I am part of that coach. I have an air fryer. Pay us. People, it's like after Apple users, you know, Claudio's in the chat. He's like that as well. You are like that. People who use air fryer is there's no going back from there. You know, you start using it. That's it.
It's like the guys that do CrossFit. You don't need to ask, right? So they will say to you immediately.
Like
they meet you and they will say.
Exactly, it's gonna happen. Mauricio is saying here, people generally think that pair programming is a waste. How people in other countries see and work with this? Oh, it's a good question.
I think it's dependent of the moment that you are in the how can I say that? For example, I don't like pair program. I would never work with a guy looking to my code, you know, doing something. But I do pair program with the developers, the junior developers, and to them it's important, you know, because we can resolve more fast and we can, you know, they will learn a lot, you know, because they will say you're resolving a problem. For me, it's uncomfortable, and now that I have a company, I realize that it's a good thing, you know, if you have more experience, share, you know.
Yeah, it's the basic senior task in a way, like you pass the knowledge ahead.
Yes, I would say that yes. Some time ago, I would say never, you know.
No,
the guy looking to the same code and I don't know, man. Coding is an art, you know, man. So it's like doing music, you know. It's your time with your code, you know. It's like write a book, you know. So you want to do, you know.
I can see you really love it, man. It's nice. Yeah. I can see the way you speak about it. It's nice. So I imagine it's very annoying if you have one coding style, one way of doing, and the other person is completely different. Like, oh. Yeah.
I would say man.
It's like we're trying to compose a symphony, and the other guy wants to trap.
And smoking pen drive at the same time.
You know, let's put something here with your Beethoven. All right. They are discussing here about the tribalism is always here, the iOS or Android. They are discussing that in the chat. The point is a comment from Mauricio. If the developer works alone, it's easy to waste time. But if there are other one working together, it's not wasted because one keep the focus of the other. Unless you have Dumb and Dumber doing the coding, you know, and then
you know, man, it can happen. But it's a characteristics of the person. For example, if I hire a guy to do a work to me for coding something like that, I don't want to hire a babysitter.
Yeah, makes sense.
To take
Do the
care,
micromanaging thing.
to take care. Generally, I can feel in the interview if the guy is a guy that can handle the tasks easily, can handle the time and things like that. It's easy to realize it. There are some questions about you. Just if you start to speak about your life, if the guy is organized, the way that the guy is presentable is I say that because that so
when
it's
you are
important, the
when you are
appearance.
interviewing a person, you can tell if the person is bullshitting you.
Yeah, easily.
Don't bullshit your
Yeah.
interviewer.
Yeah.
Have you ever screwed up, man, while working? Did something that was like, wow, a catastrophe? I erased the database of the I don't know.
Man, who never? Who never?
Okay, if you have screwed up, don't worry. You're welcome. We all have. Okay, what would you say to... What happens then? Tell us the story, please.
Shits happen.
Yeah, of course.
I was an internship. It was my second job. I dropped a database of production. Nobody would say something like that. Nobody that did something like that would say. And it was interesting because it was in the moment that I was working in a startup, and the main developer quit. So he was partner of the company, and I was an internship, and they gave to me a lot of responsibility that they shouldn't give, So it's an important thing. I would never let some developers access the production server.
Yeah, the person will feel overwhelmed too, in a way.
Yeah, and I dropped it. I was something, I think it was 5 p.m. maybe, and I was hurried because I was in the university. I had something important to resolve there, and my boss was in front of me, and I looked to him. I realized what I did.
The boss was in front of you.
Yes, but was not the developer. It was a business guy,
Okay. So
and I just look at him and realize that, oh my God, what I did.
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you can feel, the moment. And I look to him and I turn off my computer. See you tomorrow.
You did that.
Yeah. Man, when I arrived in the university, the guy started to call me like a crazy, crazy guy. And I didn't answer, of course, But the next day, I need to work, right? So
did you still have a job after that?
I was promoted. Yeah, man. Yeah. Let me tell about that. So I went to the office the next day, and the guy looked at me and asked, Diego, the application is not working. Yeah, it's not working. Yeah, not working.
Inside you were like...
But the guy had some knowledge about database, and he said, I look at the server of the database, and the database is not there. Just a bit like that, Yeah, man. Yeah. And he asked me, do you have a backup? I look at him, do you have? I'm not. I'm just internship of the company, It's your responsibility, but he paid, some kind of service, was a big host, to do the backups.
Okay.
And that is the good part, So
have a backup always.
Always.
Yeah.
So since that moment, I have a backup of a backup.
Yes, yeah.
So never happened again. And I remember that the guy was screaming in the phone, with some telemarketing guy. I want to restore my backup. How you don't have this backup? And the only thing that I figure out in that moment, I close my eyes and figure out, this guy is a telemarketing guy. He don't give a shit of that,
Yeah, he has no idea about what's happening.
And I imagine the guy standing up and put the phone here. And this fucking was what I thought in that moment, So, but the guy had a backup of 2 weeks ago.
Before?
Yeah, before. And he restored it. And in that moment, I realized that my time was arriving. You know, so
Okay.
I started to look to other positions, and I received some offers, and the guy offered more to me, so I was promoted because
So
I
you see,
dropped it.
if you screwed up your work,
And this will be a very good quote. You know, you should take a picture of me.
yes,
A senior developer dropped a database and was
Exactly.
promoted. You know.
yeah, exactly. But that's interesting. When you do something wrong there, first you learned an important lesson about the backup
yeah.
of the backup. Now,
Yeah.
and don't get too attached to the company you are.
It
Something.
was 2 lessons in one. You know.
Yeah, amazing. Okay, yes, shout out to you, Michel. You know, he's here in the chat as well. Okay, let me think if there are more questions here. Okay, what do you expect to see in the future, Diego, in terms of technology? What do you think is gonna change? Are we gonna see the flying cars finally? Or?
I think I would say more about the artificial intelligence that is happening. You know,
Yeah.
I think will be like when the machines arrived in the farm. You know.
Okay, like it will be like another industrial revolution, no way.
Maybe
Yeah.
it can be something like a technical revolution, I would say.
Okay.
You know, and it's unpredictable. Like I said, you know, it's the things change so fast. You know, man, that it's impossible to know what is really will happen. You know.
Yeah, we cannot keep track of that. What do you consider it makes a healthy work environment? Because you mentioned like the different types of professionals you have, the jokes. How can people today implement a healthy work environment? You mentioned that you don't like doing micromanaging with the guys, so
Yes, I think it's important to hire people. I think if you are entering this field, try to be more organized. You know, so it's important. My environment don't have micromanagement, so we just have a daily that it's some kind of meeting that we align about the project. The developer know the task that he need to deliver it and the date, and we do it this way. And I think when you trust in somebody and somebody do the job, it's exchange, you know, like an exchange. So people will be more happy because they are doing something useful, and I will be happy, you know. The client will be happy. Put money in my pockets. I will put money in the pocket of the guy, so everybody will be happy. You know,
Makes
so
sense.
it's simply like that, you know. And I think big companies and people in general make things that it's simple more complex. You know, a lot of bureaucracy to do something. No, just trying to make the environment simple. And I think sense of humor is important. So the guys they make a lot of fun, you know.
no,
so
I don't like that, man. I prefer to be a very serious professional.
Yeah, you know.
Jokes are for clowns. Yay! Just kidding.
No, it's not. You don't need to be a clown. No.
I'm joking. Before I was an IT professional, I used to work in Cirque du Soleil.
In the circles.
Man, and thinking here, one thing that you mentioned before, and this is very common on LinkedIn, how are they abroad, the positions in other countries? You mentioned, welcome to the jungle.
Yes, you know where you are?
Yeah, it's like that.
Yes, you're in a fucking jungle, man. It's a lot of competition. Your competitors, they have more, how can I say that, discipline than you. For example, you are competing with Chinese, with Indians. You know, they are very good, you know, in doing that, you know, and cheap. So you need to, how can I say that, to be persistent. It's like I said, you don't stop if you want to work abroad. The English is very important, so
Hence why we are here.
It's a little bit of market now. I want to have my part, you know.
That's another good cut to you with the mug, you know.
Yes, you should. I think every developer needs to know English, need to speak in English. You know, it's you don't need to have a perfect. I don't have a perfect English, you know. You just need to have an English that you can. How can I say that?
Communicate, express
Communicate
yourself.
very well and express a very good. You know, the way that you sell it's important. So when you speak English with comfort, you know, so the guy that are interviewing will realize that, you know.
Yeah, I notice in a lot of videos when they are teaching something and it's somebody, a foreigner that has a second English is the second language. They don't have a perfect English, but they have a clear communication. You can clearly understand what to do. I mean, I can't because I'm not from the field, but I can understand the instructions, you know.
You're right. I did a lot of interviews. The speakers have the English good enough to lubricate the interview, you know. So to pass your idea, to sell yourself, you know. So to entertain the guy, you know. So because you don't need to have a perfect. That when you start in the position, the thing that we will do is just a basic communication, you know. And you need to understand perfectly what they are saying, you know. So maybe you receive a task and they will write, you know. So it's a text, you know.
Yeah, if you need help with that, here we are. Here we are.
Yeah.
You know.
And, you know, he said that it's 18 months to learning. It's true, you know. You just need that, you know.
Yeah, and to be honest with you guys, if you are doing the dynamic course, I will recommend you in 5 months you will be in lesson now is the teacher talking. You will be in lesson 15, so you will know how to express yourself in the present, in the past, and in the future. So is the moment I tell my students, man, now is the time for you to apply for job interviews. Something that I say, I said this in another episode. Take 1 month of your life, apply for 20 job positions in English for positions you don't want. You don't want to be accepted in the job. You just want to be there doing the thing, like talking to the person, describing your skills and being the process. You have already won just by being there. You are making your brain feel comfortable in that position. When you finally get the position you actually want, yay, you're going to get the job. Or at least you'll be prepared for that, you know?
Practice is better than theory.
Yeah, amazing. Man, unfortunately, we're running out of time.
Okay.
You know? Do you want me to I always do this, you know, we can do an awkward pause if you want. I can sing a cute ending song. How do you want to end this?
I think I said the things that I want to say. I think everything was clear, you know, man. And I would say that somebody's life is... Life, I would say something about life. Life sometimes can be a pretty girl, you know, looking to you, smiling, flirting with you. Everything's great, you know. Everything's great. But can be a small guy with a short dick try to fuck with you, you know.
Yeah. Like...
The secret, pay attention, the right thing, you know. So just kick the guy, you know, and kiss the girl. Simple like that.
Kick the guy, kiss the girl. What the hell are they talking about? Okay, would you like to give a final message for listeners, man? If somebody is starting, what would be the recommendations? Somebody who wants to start in the IT field.
You need the knowledge. So, and first knowledge after money.
Okay.
Simple like that. So try to do things, especially if you know some developer that have experience. Pay the guy to teach you, man. Man, it's better you pay a guy that are in the field doing that than go to some course, you know. So because the reality is different of the theory, you know. So the jungle is different, you know.
Going back to the beginning of our conversation, hence the importance of doing the internship process.
Totally.
Yeah, makes sense.
It's not the only course, you know. I think to be internship is better than do a course, in my opinion, you know.
Yeah, you will learn with practical. Thank you so much, man. It was a pleasure. I learned a lot today, you know, and I love how you got promoted. That was a funny story. Guys, thank you again for the message. You know, I love when you guys are sending messages. I love to see our guests here in the chat as well. You know, shout out to you guys. Don't forget, we'll be posting these episodes weekly, okay? And there are 30-something people watching us. So I want 30 likes in this video right now. Don't go away before liking the video. This helps a lot, okay? Hope to see you next week on our next episode of Talking Times. Mwah! Bye-bye!